Look, before we do anything else, I just want you to take a breath, settle in, and picture this for a second. It's 2 a.m. The house is completely quiet. The world outside is totally dark, perfectly still. Your body feels incredibly heavy, just absolutely exhausted from a long, demanding day. But your eyes? They're wide open, staring right up at the ceiling. You are physically drained, but your mind is racing like a car engine stuck in the red line. If you're listening to this right now and nodding your head, man, I want you to know you're definitely not alone. Tonight, we're going to dig into the hidden science of exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how you can finally get some real peace. All right, let's dive into it.
Millions of us struggle with sleep night after night. And honestly, we usually blame the obvious stuff, right? We drop a ton of cash on a brand new mattress, we put up heavy blackout curtains, we download all those fancy sleep tracking apps, or we try to rigidly hack our schedules. And yet we still just toss and turn, feeling this overwhelming, helpless frustration. You're lying there thinking, I'm so bone tired, why won't my body just shut down? Well, what if the mattress isn't actually the problem? What if your bedroom environment is totally fine, and there's this specific, entirely invisible reason why this happens to so many of us?
I mean, think about your day. It was probably packed. And look, especially for us as guys, we tend to carry the weight of the day completely silently. The work stress was dialed up to 10. The inbox literally never stopped pinging. Or maybe you had a really tense conversation, an argument you just can't stop replaying in your head. And then there's the money stuff. You're lying there in the dark wondering, wait, did I pay that bill? Why on earth did my car insurance rate suddenly shoot up? Am I actually making the right moves for my family's future? It's these incredibly relatable everyday worries that absolutely hijack our brains. The mind just stubbornly refuses to hit the brakes.
Now, there's this fascinating quirk of biology. Out in the wild, actual wild predators often ignore sleeping humans. But inside our safe, modern bedrooms, we aren't actually safe from a completely different kind of predator. Our very own stress hormones literally prey on us at night. Actually, scratch that. It's more of an ancient survival mechanism gone totally wrong. It isn't a threat outside your house keeping you awake. It's an unseen internal chemical culprit. Your body is reacting as if there's a literal tiger pacing at the foot of your bed, even though you're just stressed about an email you forgot to send to your boss.
So what exactly is this internal predator? It's cortisol. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. And listen, this is absolutely crucial to understand. This is not a personal failure, and it's not a lack of discipline. It's just cold, hard biology. As men, we often try to just tough it out or muscle our way through the exhaustion. But you cannot outmuscle a hormone. When you get stressed, your body floods with cortisol. It's explicitly designed to keep your brain alert, hyper-focused, and locked into survival mode. The problem is, your brain can't just flip a switch from high alert survival mode straight into a relaxing sleep mode. The engine is still roaring.
Now, to be fair, cortisol is not inherently evil. Daytime cortisol? That stuff is incredibly useful. It gets you out of bed, keeps you sharp, and makes you ready to tackle complex problems at work. It's a real game changer during the day. But nighttime cortisol? That is a total saboteur. When those cortisol levels stay high after dark, falling asleep becomes practically impossible. Just imagine trying to casually drift off while your brain genuinely believes your life is in immediate danger. That is exactly why you get that agonizing, maddening feeling of being physically exhausted, but somehow completely stubbornly wide awake. Your brain is trying to protect you, but it's doing it at literally the worst possible time.
So the key here is understanding this biological trap we all fall into. It kicks off with those high daytime stress levels. That excess cortisol means you're going to have a really hard time falling asleep in the first place. But the damage doesn't even stop there. Let's say you finally do manage to pass out. The stress actually damages the quality of the sleep you're getting. Your brain spends way less time in those deep restorative stages of sleep that literally repair your physical body. The result? You wake up feeling just as trashed as when your head hit the pillow. Your battery never actually recharged.
And man, that lack of restorative sleep sets you up for a brutal next day. We all know the feeling. You wake up feeling completely wiped out. So what's the go-to move? We chug way more coffee, just trying to artificially force our energy levels up. But that just spikes our irritability. Your patience drops to absolute zero. Your focus is shot. Suddenly, things that shouldn't matter, like hitting a red light on the commute or finding a minor typo in a spreadsheet, feel like massive, insurmountable disasters. Your emotions are completely frayed because your brain literally didn't get the chance to wash away yesterday's stress.
And here is the tragic loop. Step 1, stress totally ruins your sleep. Step 2, that terrible sleep makes you significantly more stressed the next day, which forces your body to pump out even more stress hormones. Step 3, the cycle repeats. Over and over again. Millions of adults out there are trapped in this exact same spin cycle for years. They're convinced they have some incurable sleep disorder without ever realizing what the whole shebang is actually about. They're trying to treat the symptom, the lack of sleep, instead of going after the root cause, which is that unchecked cortisol.
Which brings us to the biggest question of our explainer tonight. How do we actually break this vicious cortisol cycle? If you've been listening and nodding along, realizing you're totally stuck in this exact loop, I want to give you some really good news. You can break this. There are real, actionable, science-backed off-ramps from this exhausting highway. We do not have to just accept garbage sleep as a normal part of being an adult. We just need to learn how to consciously signal to our bodies that the day's threats are actually gone.
So here is your roadmap. 3 incredibly clear, totally actionable steps to naturally slow your heart rate, clear out that cortisol, and snap the cycle. First up, the 60-minute stress-free hour. Second, the 5-minute brain dump. And third, the 4 to 6 slow breathing method. These are not weird, complicated medical procedures. They are dead simple tools you can literally start using tonight to take the steering wheel back from your nervous system. Let's break them down right now.
All right, step 1 is all about creating a hard boundary. You need to carve out a 60-minute stress-free hour before you even think about getting into bed. Remember what we said earlier? Your brain needs permission to slowly power down. It absolutely requires a transition phase. That means no checking work emails, no heavy conversations about the mortgage or the news, and physically dimming the lights in your house. Blaring screens and intense debates act as literal signals to your brain that the sun is still up and you need to be ready to fight. By shutting all of that down an hour early, you're looking your cortisol in the eye and saying, hey, the shift is over, time to rest.
Moving to step 2, and honestly, this one is my personal favorite because it works so incredibly well. The 5-minute brain dump. Grab a physical notebook and a pen. Do not use your phone for this. And just write down all your lingering worries, your to-do list for tomorrow, any random thoughts pinging around in your skull. Getting those thoughts out of your head and onto paper offers this massive psychological relief. It's like having 20 tabs open on your internet browser. Your brain is desperately trying to keep them all running so nothing crashes. By writing them down, you're hitting save to the hard drive, letting your brain finally close those tabs. You'll feel the mental weight lift almost immediately.
And finally, step 3. I actually want you to try this with me right now. It's the 4-6 slow breathing method. We're going to naturally, physically de-escalate your nervous system. You just inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds, and then you exhale slowly for 6 seconds. You just repeat this gentle rhythm for about 5 minutes. The magic here is entirely in that longer exhale. Extending that breath out physically signals safety to your biological hardware. It tells the oldest, most primitive part of your brain that the coast is clear. Your heart rate starts to drop, your mind settles, and suddenly, sleep transitions from being this impossible, frustrating task into just a natural consequence of being calm. There is a really core truth we need to anchor on here. You cannot force sleep. You can only create the conditions in which sleep can happen naturally. So many of us think curing insomnia means gritting our teeth and trying to muscle through more miserable hours tossing around in the sheets. But the science proves that's totally backwards. Sleep is kind of like a shy animal out in the woods. If you chase it, it's just going to run away. Treating the underlying stress by setting up the right physical and mental conditions, that is the only true way to get your nights back.
So I want to leave you with this one thought as we wrap up our explainer today. Really think about your own nights lately. Was your actual problem ever really about sleep? Or was it the stress operating completely silently in the background, keeping your engine running? Once you realize that cortisol and survival mode are the real villains here, you suddenly have the power to flip the script. Tonight, dim the lights. Write down tomorrow's chaos on a piece of paper. Take a nice, slow, 6-second exhale. You've absolutely got the power to break the cycle. I really hope you found this helpful, and I hope you get some deep, truly restorative rest tonight. Take care, man.